right, it's starting now.
All right, my room is apparently smoky. So give it a second.
That's fair. I'm drinking this somewhat new to me beer, Due North. It is apparently the cheapest of beers.
Yeah, the
In
label
flavor,
looks like it.
or
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
I
think
thought
it
it was a
works.
Bud Light.
Well, it tastes not far off. I mean, it's less than $1 per can, and it's a 4.5%. So
All
it's
right,
goes down easy.
malt, malt liquor.
The maltiest.
I start the stream sleepy, and I'm sure a couple beers will definitely help with that. It's the worst that could
Okay.
happen.
Just Joe's just passed
Well,
out
yeah.
midstream.
I was like, so we're talking to his forehead. Yeah. So as long
Yeah,
as you keep as long as you keep the stream going, I mean, we'll get by without you.
Oh,
glad to hear
oof.
it.
I mean, I could have made it a lot worse on that insult than get by. I mean, like
See, that was charitable of you. I appreciate it.
I was giving ourselves manageable expectations, and you made it sound like we were knocking home runs out of the park without him. So,
Wow,
that's for the week after when we know he's not going to be here. It's
something.
Well, that means I have to learn how to use the program that I can't even remember the name of right now.
And how to manage all the bullshit windows and
that
I
sounds like a
yeah.
good task for you there, Paul.
I can't wait till I have a multi-monitor setup again, and then
I
can
was
manage
going
all
to
this
say
so much more easily.
it might actually kick my ass in the gear to get my multi-screen set up,
Mm-hmm.
which I have to set up. I'm going to set up because I'm moving things around to get the freezer in my space. So
Right.
just
Good
needs to
eve,
happen.
Infinite Ben. How we doing, gentlemen?
Hey,
What are we
hey,
carrying?
guys.
I didn't even realize we were streaming.
Oh, that's
Hi,
good.
everybody.
You could have said a lot of things.
Yeah, I sure could have.
Glad you didn't. Glad you didn't.
I mean, good or bad or ugly. It's, could have been any of those things.
All three.
At once. Same
If
sentence.
you are watching this after the live stream, jump ahead roughly 15 minutes where we will actually be starting the review of the Civivi Sentinel. Is that the only thing we're reviewing? I don't know.
Well, yeah. Does anybody know
Yeah,
why they
you
call
don't
it?
even sound like you know. Is there anything else on the table that you're familiar with, Joe? Yeah.
Well, no, it's the Sentinel Strike. And I was gonna say, does anybody know why it's called the Sentinel Strike instead of just the Sentinel?
And it strikes.
Paul? Swear to God.
You know what? Here. I'm actually going to put my light on.
There's 4 of them. I was going to make a baseball joke, but that's not the right number. I don't know. Anyway. So, what is everyone carrying tonight?
Well, Ben's carrying his Adonis because he's
nice.
doing garage work. I don't know if that's like building a garage, working in a garage, working on a car.
Garage work. Sounds like work in a garage, you know?
Yeah.
Does a great job working on electrical stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Um what was my dad doing that one day? I had a mess. I'd left it on the counter back when I was living at home.
Was he opening cans with it? But he didn't like the amount of nickel content in it, so he had to sell it dirt cheap on Kijiji.
Hey, that's a deep cut. Oh,
sorry.
has it been long enough that we could have a discussion about interesting people we meet? But
not without anonymity. It's
have to be super specific.
Just inside jokes like that. Anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I think I was experimenting a bit with convexing edges at the time, and he was using it to strip wire, and apparently he was like super jazzed with it. And I was like, please don't do that. He was careful. But Ben's been
furnishing the edge. It's fine.
Yeah.
Also, Dick Richards, how you doing? What are you carrying as well? Anyone else in the said chat? Okay. Someone go first. I went first last time. Sons of
I'll
bitches.
go first. That's nothing new.
Aw.
Okay,
Yeah, how's your Norseman working out for you?
pretty great.
Sorry.
Pretty happy with it.
I mean,
It's
even if I didn't actually see you take pictures of it, I still would have called you out as using it. But
you
now
saw
you
me
just
take pictures of it?
disappeared into the daisies. It was right next to where I was taking pictures of.
Mm. Yeah, I wasn't taking pictures of that.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah,
I'm glad I didn't see what you were taking pictures of. What?
I changed it up this week. It's actually not even that photo. I'm saving that one.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
All right.
I got a really kind of funky photo of my Arrakis on a fence post.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. He's just hanging out.
He literally is just hanging out. I don't have any silly
Yeah.
putty on it. It's literally caught on the edge of the finger twirl.
I know we briefly, barely talked about this earlier today, but I still think you should get some use out of that.
It might happen.
I mean, I can baton with it if it makes you feel better.
It's thick
Doesn't.
enough, it's thick enough behind the edge that they'll probably take it.
How dare you, Joe?
we were, we were talking about that exact thing earlier.
Okay, I'll just do it like handle straight down. How about that? It's
Just take the blade right off.
it won't wreck the blade that way, right?
It might.
How considerate of you.
Oh, it's still flowers. I don't understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
daisies. That's all you get is daisies.
One day Paul will have a normal background, but it is not this day.
That's
Never.
a fun one. That's a fun one.
Oh, my mouth is apparently flowers now. That was weird.
Yeah,
Also
you're
censored.
being censored.
Yeah.
It does
Goddamn
not
kittens.
recognize your mustache as a living being.
That's odd.
Oh, that's good. It better not be a living being.
It's a separate entity that deserves censorship. Censor that. It's not censoring your mouth. It's just censoring your mustache for some reason.
Hey, look, I get it. Don't have to like it.
Joe. Sorry, go ahead.
Mine's not as fancy as Paul's. It's the same handle materials. It's the same blade material, I think. Anyway, it's 707. Yeah, 0707. There you go. Maybe one day they'll name their knives, but once again, not this day. That's an old photo. Sorry, but yeah.
How dare you? JQs. I just want to point out in chat, Infinite is having a bit of a struggle with his internets, so it kind of makes sense that we might have been feeling the similar effects earlier.
Yeah,
I blame the internet. I always blame the internet. I mean,
yeah, of course, it's
the right thing to
always
blame.
the internet's fault.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
Lemmy, yeah, it was a nice shot. Yeah, I actually give him a little bit of credit for that one.
I like that one.
I was probably 3 kilometers away in a canyon when that shot was taken. But...
You sure were. You were. You were trying to find your way, and then you found your way to us.
I had an interesting day, but it was good. I think some of the guys that were with us learned some things for sure. So
100%.
What about you,
good times.
Dennis?
707, skinny little bastard with too many D10 balls.
It's
Figure it out.
It's got too many balls.
It's got 2. It's got the correct amount.
Pick a lane.
Yeah.
Too many.
All right. Yeah. So actually, a while back and never got posted, never showed it, but I don't know. I want to say it was like probably half a year ago. I have a nice, healthy collection of the Boker gnomes. And one of the last ones I needed in the collection was the one with olive wood. And then by chance, they so happened to also release a olive wood handled version that also had D2 on it this year instead of the standard, whatever, 440C or 1227 Sandvik. So yeah, all weekend long in the pocket, the little Boker gnome has been having a good time.
That's a good photo. The red liners and the D2 and the highlight. That's it's nice.
And I carry it on the seam of the pants and then tuck it into the pocket, all ready to deploy and such. I hope Paul appreciates how much I effed with this photo because he knows where this shot was taken, and
Really?
this looks nothing like the terrain of what the actual photo looks like.
This is what I'm saying. I was there. You will see in the future my photo from this same area, and you can go back to this video and be confused.
On why mine looks like moon rocks. Yeah, and
Yeah.
still has the olive wood and the red liners. It took some doing to get this one tweaked the way it was, but I'm happy with the way that it turned out. But yes, yeah, Boker gnomes. They're little one finger. That's all it is. The only one left I need is the blacked out
Copper
copper
tubing.
micarta. Yeah, yeah,
The tactical gnome.
and it's also a D2 version.
Yeah.
But I don't have the burlappy micarta, the copper. Because I think the copper is actually in the micarta on that last variation. It's copper shred micarta, something
So-
burlappy, good times. Yeah.
That's fine.
Anyway, then I will have collect them all like Pokemon.
I'm just gonna do this because reasons.
Yeah, well, let me approve, I think.
That's pretty much the reason.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the first time that the sheath actually came properly fitted because the rest of them are junk.
Yeah, that sounds about right for
For Pokey.
One leather and 3 Kydex ones that don't really match. Yeah, so. But
you mean
good
they're
times.
not interchangeable from knife to knife?
They should be because nothing grabs it except for the front, like, plunge grind. Shoulder. Yeah,
See.
pinches on that.
Oh, really?
Doesn't pinch on the handle in any sort of way.
See, I was just gonna call it a choily nubbin, but I think your technical terms are much better.
You should.
Well, yeah. So.
Why is it so choily?
So.
Who designed the gnome
Because
again?
it needs. Vox. It's a Vox Nace.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Then that's who you need to ask.
Mm-hmm. The gnomes are fun. I need to get one at some point.
Yeah, I'll actually thank Blackfrost for actually giving me my first one. He got me the antler handled one right off the bat, and that's what got that train started. But since then,
Ooh.
I have went on a spree. So
A gnome spree?
Yeah,
gnoming, yeah.
There's a number of different variations out there for the gnome too. So, like Dennis is saying, imminently collectible, kind of neat.
Absolutely. I'm into it.
It's fun. It's fun.
Just needs a lanyard that's like 6 inches long.
And that's the nice thing is both of the holes are actually tubes on that one. So
Yeah.
you
can
do what
weave
you
it
want.
through both.
Wow, you could have 2 lanyards. I mean, wrap it around your hand like bull rider style.
Or just have like a loop that comes up through one hole, down through the other, so you can tighten it to your finger.
I'm gonna put one of these on my Boker gnome.
Yeah, exactly.
The wrist lanyard.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Please do it.
I think that's asking for an accident, and I approve of such actions.
You're gonna say such accidents.
Well, I can't say
wonderful.
what's going to happen. You might come away clean.
You don't get to see, apparently. The flowers have decided no.
The ball knot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's too many.
gnome would be nice.
That's too many balls. I mean, Joe's already got 2 on his knife alone, so they had to censor it. You just got daisies.
So,
Just got daisies.
oops, all daisies.
Hell, ain't that a daisy?
Boker Gnome versus Mora Eldris. We all own Eldrises as well, and
Yeah. Like, would you rather have one over the other? Is that the question, or what are we comparing exactly?
I don't know. I think at the end of it, I think a Mora Eldris could get some harder utility. The Boker Gnomes are just fun. For fun knives, it wins the fun knife category.
Yeah, the Eldris definitely has a more full handle. Probably not any longer of a blade, but
But if I wanted to skin a rabbit with an egg, I mean, then I would pick the Mora Eldris. It's
And if I wanted to practice my stabbing, I'd also pick more Eldris.
Thank you. I was waiting for somebody to bring it up.
No. I was gonna go on a scrambled after my egg content, but Joe veered the other direction. I let him run with it. Now I'm trying to circle back in a pathetic effort to get a laugh, but
I'll chuckle. I'll titter.
no, if it's
He's
too
tittering
late,
over here.
stop that. Stop the
your
titters.
Stop having fun, damn it. Yeah.
Stop your titters, Joe. Stop.
Speaking of stopping my titters,
Whoa, that is not an appropriate segue.
No, it's really not.
Don't continue them either. I mean, I don't know what the right answer is.
Rock in a hard place type situation. Don't read into that phrasing at all.
Put them down, leave the room, turn the lights off. Let's move on.
Some Sentinels. How's that for a segue?
Turner.
Good stuff.
Yeah. You had said earlier there's 4 different variations of this guy. These are the 2 that we got in hand. The other variations I'm just going to pop up on screen here quick, because I just have the website handy. There's a gray aluminum and a all black. Although the all black does come with a green wraparound.
Yeah, it does.
Zytel handle. Do we get a better shot of that? No. Do I wish that... Oh, yeah, there you go. Do I wish that the green came with the red for Christmas colors? A little bit. Just a little bit.
A little green and red.
And I am happy, though, that there isn't an all-black option, because it just kind of ruins the whole point of having that backspacer. Anyway, that might be getting ahead of myself.
Well, and I mean, there already know that green tacos work because the Benchmade readout has been on the shelf for last year. So they're like, yeah, what other color? Green. Let's go green taco. It's been tested. It's
really boring.
The green tacos have been tested in the market already, man. It's
I don't. There's something I can't put my finger on that I don't like about your sentences.
Hopefully, it's more than one finger.
Yeah.
Not to that one. Yeah, so where do we go from here? Standard versions are K110. The Damasteel here, or Damasteel. Now I'm getting caught up in saying that too. It's a stainless Damascus. It's not brand name Damasteel. It's a 10CR 9CR blend, I believe. I think it's a 10CR core.
You're gonna get somebody sued.
Well, as long as it's not me, I guess.
Somebody.
That comes next.
I'm all about people suing each other. Good stuff. Like, that's, I don't know, if Joe has to take the hit on that one, that's...
You're on your own. But...
I see how it is.
All right, so overall specs, we got a blade length of 3.7. We got a weight of 3.47, 3.5, whatever. Yeah. Overall length of 8.6. Ceramic ball bearing. All the good times. Anything else? Oh, glass window tip. Breaker tip. I don't know. Weird. Yeah.
Is it like a ceramic ball bearing kind of?
It is, and I did take a photo somewhere. There's a couple different photos here. Yeah, little ceramic ball bearing. Put it on the nut/screw. I would imagine that's actually a screw, not a nut. Yeah.
It's
very
a choice.
Deep carry pocket clip. Very long pocket clip also. I didn't grab a side-by-side comparison shot with anything, but to give you an idea, this is a very short clip on the 707. This might be considered more mid-length on the Cormorant. But I don't know, maybe it's because of how narrow this pocket clip is, but it read as like really long relative to the grip. Felt fine.
It does seem to me, but like halfway up the blade almost.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
Was anybody else annoyed by the fact that the screw, like the hex head for the glass breaker, doesn't line up with everything else on the back end of that knife? It's slightly askew.
Didn't really bother me,
It
but now that you've brought it up,
makes me angry in my soul.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the machining required to make sure that when it's properly tightened, it's completely flush. Like
Just
not
don't
a,
make it a hex head. Do something
not on a
else.
knife this inexpensive. That's actually one of the other things. Is this knife isn't terribly expensive for what it is. Like the Damascus version is 125 American.
But
The
that
red
is
and
fair.
black is 100 American. Like it's not
It
expensive for what they are.
it could have just been a screw. I ain't breaking glass.
Yeah. I will say though, that is probably the most comfortable glass breaker that I've seen on a knife.
Two
I
facts.
don't happen to have my SOCP Benchmade handy here, but even that one, the little carbide tip is a little pokey after a bit. Usually the low profile glass breakers are usually stuff like this, and they're still
Yeah.
kind of like jabby pokey. Yeah, that's better contrast
Look,
there, just for the profile.
that's what Ninja Rocks are for, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Benchmade ones. I mean, they just got a
Hey,
nubby.
yeah.
That's a Contigo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They haven't.
But
That's
then
basically what Benchmade's still using. Yeah.
They're still kind of funky though.
Kind of spiky.
Yeah.
I just if I'm not buying a knife that has that utility built in,
Is
I
that why
don't
they
really
called
care.
it? Is that why they called it the Sentinel Strike? Is because you could strike with it.
Look, why are we calling like a seagull as
I was going for more like a Roberto thing, but that's okay. I can't.
Look, if the knife wants to do karate in the garage, it's allowed, okay?
That's what they mean by garage work. I understand now.
all of a sudden, the pieces fall together.
Ben's just doing karate in the garage. I'm into it.
He's got it as Adamas. I mean, it's no slouch.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I got a couple of size comparison photos here as well. Here's the old standby. I tried to line up the pivots together so you can kind of get an idea of where your hand would normally fall if you've never handled a Dragonfly. Actually, before I get to the rest of the size comparisons, here's a few in-hand shots as well. So,
and as far as the choil goes, again, very similar sizing to a Dragonfly. Like it seems like, I mean, realistically, they put a larger choil in a Dragonfly than they probably should, but it matches up with everything that's in that 3¼ inch, 3.5 inch, whatever kind of blade shape.
mm-hmm.
Look, as a guy that likes my PM2, I'm a fan of that choil.
Yeah.
On both.
I am okay. The thumb stud, I'm just gonna briefly say I think is kind of stupid. However, the choil coming up as far as it does mean that it's far less of a problem when it's going to come to sharpening. You're not going to hit a stone against that or a belt against that thumb stud nearly as easily as you otherwise would have. Do I wish that it was just the opening hole aesthetically? Yes, but that thumb stud pops that knife open super fast and really reliably. So maybe
but so does a Spidey flick. Like
yes, yeah.
I think a Spidey flick more so.
The hole does work great.
I think there's been this whole group of knives specifically designed to be openable in as many different ways as possible, so that they're fidgety.
And I think to stand out, against stuff like the Cormorant, which is using the kind of a corner flipper, front flipper, hole button. Yeah, a thumb stud's probably not a bad idea from a market analysis perspective, but personally, I do kind of wish it was just the hole.
I agree.
Is also some things with selling markets where things can't just be a flipper or whatever type of thing, also has to have a thumb stud as far as an opening deployment to be able to be sold in certain markets. So,
even with the presence of an opening hole.
yeah, 100%, sir.
Oh wow. Okay.
So,
Huh.
not going into too many details, but I do know that there's certain market venues and companies and blah 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 that if you want to sell something, blah blah blah, it has this requirement of.
Interesting.
So,
Okay. No,
That law
that's
is
abs.
stupid.
But it's absolutely worth considering as far as what this thing is.
and
Absolutely.
I don't even know if I can say necessarily law so much as open market rules and things like that type of
Hmm.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
regulations on selling things through certain marketplaces.
Okay. We don't need to go too far into that, but
Well,
I think
anyway,
I get it. Yeah, interesting.
so
That's it. That's a level of insight I didn't think I'd get.
if you want to sell in certain areas and you want to comply with a whole bunch of things to open up your market to a whole bunch of things, maybe I should just throw some thumb studs on there so I can sell them where I want to sell them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
Kind of.
interesting that you would point that out because I kind of thought, and then I've thought that for a while when I've seen some other things on the market that I was like, oh, I wonder if it's just you're loopholing it up by throwing that thumb stud on there.
Here's a couple other size comparisons. There's the 707, and there's the older military, not the military too. But just to give you an idea of grip area, like it's not a particularly small knife.
No,
It's slender.
it's actually.
Oh,
I was going to say larger than I thought it was going to be.
yes,
That's one of the things when I saw it in person, I was like, oh, that's a little bit heftier than, and not weight wise, but as far as like full grip, fills out the hand, so on and so forth. I'm like, oh, yeah. I was almost in my mind thinking, like, oh, what's that other Civivi? An Odium type of look, like the smaller guys. Not that small, but I was kind of in that vibe of. And then when it came in, I was like, oh, no, that's,
it's actually a pretty
yeah.
fair size knife. It's not
Yeah.
quite as big as the. I was just comparing these two. Not quite as big as the Endura, but it's close to the ballpark.
So can I ask if anyone else has wondered why the Valkyrie spaceship CRKT you two sue each other? Has anyone else had those vibes? I call it the Tokyo spaceship, but I think it was the CRKT Valkyrie.
I'll bring the Raikiri up here. CRKT keeps changing their website, so there's no direct link to it anymore. That's stupid. Anyway, here's some
That's because
pictures.
CRKT's new website is not the best version that they can be.
No, it sure isn't. And I loathe the day that I resort to Amazon, but whatever. Here's a picture from Knives and Tools.
Oh yeah, I forgot which one it was until you pointed it out.
I still
Feel strippy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got some vibe.
I still really like that overall design. It's so
Not
stupid
quite.
and strange.
It's not quite. It's
but
different choil, different humpy, harpoony thing on the back. It's not quite, but
The old humpy harpoony. Yeah,
don't like that. But yeah, it's, similar lines overall for sure. Yeah, that hadn't occurred to me, but I do definitely agree. Thankfully, you're going to get way better edge retention with the Civivi over the Valkyrie. But
I've also thought it had a little bit of the what's that stupid Snex lock? Is it the Vision? A little bit of that vibe. Someone stretched this thing out, but it's got
a little bit.
blade shape. It's got a little bit of that too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does this one have a designer attached to it, or is it in-house?
I want to say it's in house, but we have the information right here.
If it's an in-house, they might be capitalizing on that blade shape
It
because
is in
that's
house, yes.
kind of a big thing. You know what I mean?
Well,
I think
that blade shape
Sure.
has become a bit more popular too. Like the baby banter just recently. That's about the same angle relative to the grip of the handle. So I wonder if there was any cross influence there.
With it coming up. That's the thing I like about it is it gives you a little bit of attack angle.
A little bit, yeah. Um,
You know, when
pretty
you're slicing up your boxes.
well. I was gonna say this thing has a pretty decent thickness behind the edge. Like it's relatively thin. I forget if Dennis mentioned the blade stock thickness on this or not.
No,
Um,
I skipped it this time.
that's fair.
For sure.
It's 3 mil thickness, but it feels thinner than a lot of other knives in that range, probably because of how broad the blade is. Um, honestly, I didn't expect to like this knife quite as much as I do.
Yeah, I feel that same way.
This is a knife where I don't mind the presence of the lanyard hole where it's installed. I don't mind the fact that the backspacer slash taco is polymer. That did reading the specs on paper before seeing it in person, that did kind of was a little annoying. I'm like, I mean, if you're gonna go to that effort, but the execution actually feels quite good. It doesn't feel cheap in the hand. It feels relatively solid. The pocket clip also appears to be reversible. I think you can just lay the clip down on facing the other way once you put the screw out and back in.
Look, they made one for you, Dennis. And it is Civivi. They do that fairly frequently.
Civivi's okay with that. I mean, it's better than Best Tech most of the time.
Better than
Yeah.
we most of the time, like 99% of the time.
Yeah, yeah, they suck. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Look, they just want you to carry your knife correctly. It's fine.
Right way, you see, not the left way.
Yeah, exactly.
Gonna get a close up, some detail shots here. They did a lot right on these knives, and I know pretty much all my photos are of the green model because it's more visually interesting. But
Visually.
visually, the bevels on the handle, I like
Yeah.
a lot. They didn't go the PM2 route where it's barely there, and they didn't do the what was that other knife I was gonna
He
harp on?
says that like PM2s have any sort of chamfering at all.
I was gonna say.
Substantially
Barely,
less than a military.
barely. That's
Yeah,
barely
yeah,
means zero in that case. Like it's
yeah.
yeah.
That's it. They're kind of square. There's a reason I don't own one still. But this is actually fairly substantial, and it lends the knife to feeling very comfortable in the hand without feeling like it's gonna slip. That is one complaint I have read. It's not necessarily one I share, but with the Cubit, because of how rounded that handle is, it can feel a bit like holding a rock, like a river stone, like very smooth. It's hard to orient. This doesn't feel quite as rounded off, so if that's something that bothers you, that kind of extreme rounding, this I think is a good
But
compromise.
I bet you the Cubit would skip really well. Like with
Dude,
all of that, just come off your hand. Like it's
oh,
yeah.
it
Open or
would,
closed?
except it's aluminum, so it's
Well,
probably pretty light, right? Like I mean,
it would start open,
it starts open.
but if you could get it to come off your finger in a snap boomerang style, I mean, that's how you
That's
fish. I'll teach that to the people.
just.
The people.
Please tell me you've tied some fishing line through the lanyard hole.
no. it's,
Ah,
it's
bummer.
boomerang style. It's
Oh, it comes
bringing
back
it's
with the fish attached.
doing the work for me.
That's incredible. Please
Work
teach me
smarter,
your
not
ways.
harder, Joe.
What's that? Oh, that's just my fishing knife.
That's not long enough to be a fillet knife. You're like, no. You don't understand.
Fillet.
They come pre-fillet, thank you very much.
That's what my other boomerang knife does.
I don't like where this is heading.
Anyway,
I-
Sentinels. Yeah.
I forgot another size comparison. Oh, I'm not gonna make that open. I'm gonna bring that here. Yeah.
The fact that your boomerang knife is not a kukri, though, kind of upsets me. Not
It's
gonna lie.
You'd expect that.
Yeah.
You gotta have an element of supplies. It's
The element of supplies. Hell yeah. Nice. I agree.
Yeah, so they never see it coming. I don't even know where this has gone. Yeah. Anyway, button locks. You say that's not a
Yeah.
finger. That's not a finger choil, Joe.
It sure is. You can put your finger right there if you don't care what happens to your finger. Any choil is a finger choil if you don't care enough.
Joe doesn't care what happens to his finger.
I care a little bit. Yeah, more size comparison, similar-ish blade shapes. No, not really. There's a lot more curvature on that smock. Um,
So how expensive is milling out G10 tacos? No, these aren't G10, are they? They're just FRN plastic. You can mold them.
they
Yeah,
sure are. So they are injection molded. I did try to get a photo of the inside. Um, that one ended up
Right up in
blurry.
there.
Kind of see the texture of the plastic and the injection molding. They're doing it decently well. It's a pretty clean injection. There's actually like a scoop on the inside of the back spacer where it's like concave a little bit. It's a little silly. It's a little strange. Um, no internal
Stab
milling.
them
I'm not sad about that.
just enough that they don't have to worry about blades being misground. Still make clearance.
Yeah, that's probably it.
They won't work with barrel spacers being hit like other reputable companies that we've seen. It's
Shaw. Yeah, sure.
well,
Chershaw. I've never heard of Chershaw.
That's
sure, new up and comers, dude. You haven't seen them. You haven't heard of them yet.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I was just keeping an eye on everything here. Anyway.
Excellent.
All the things.
Yeah, speed holes. There's a couple speed holes next to the button. There's some speed holes in the back spacer. There's a speed hole in the blade. This is a really speedy knife.
Yeah. How else you got to go fast?
I don't know about the one in the knife. I mean, I think that's the pie for dessert myself. It's
good old pie slice.
I mean,
Yeah.
after you've been going fast all day, yeah, it's
slow down, take it easy for a bit. Yeah.
I need a piece of the pie.
Now I want pie.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah,
well, I don't have pie. You see the problem here?
Yes.
Soon you're not gonna. Yeah.
Not with that attitude.
So Sentinels, you say?
So I'm thinking about pie now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So K110 again comes randomly popped up in. We've got a couple blades in a couple places that are just like, hey, got some K110 lying around? We'll take it.
Which I do find kind of interesting because, you know, it's a bowler steel. You would figure you'd see some more M390 if that was the case. Just if you're dealing with bowler anyway, maybe you might pick up some. No, it's just the K110 that they like to play with occasionally. It's strange.
Just weird where you just see it pop up. Like, and there's no rhyme or reason. It's not like, hey, we've got this big line of K110 shit. Like, what does Civivi actually have when you are shopping and filter by K110?
I don't know, but I will find out.
I'm just curious.
They borrowed some from Best Tech.
The Sentinel, that's it.
And same thing with Best Tech. They've got the whatever the hell that knife, you know, the one.
Yeah, they bought too much.
The circuit.
That sounds right.
Yeah, that's the one.
I remember things occasionally. Unfortunately, they actually have they got a decent. Nope, they got two knives. Just a bunch of variations of those two knives. The Mako, and the circuit.
Okay, well, at least they have more than one knife in their catalog. That's most of the other time you see it. Like CRKT did it, but very rarely. Like it's
K110 is not like a bad steel. I'm not upset to see it. It's supposedly just a more tightly controlled melt of D2. Like it's pretty much D2, just Boulder's version.
Better.
Good choice for edge retention. Reasonable toughness for a knife like this. It's Dennis is experiencing an earthquake apparently.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the Canon. That's got K110. That's the other knife. Old schoolies.
That was the first knife that made me aware of K110. Still like that little thing.
Still one of the weirder knives out there. That thing is such a weird shape.
Yeah, I've never actually processed an animal with this one.
Yeah, you should.
I remember.
You're right, I should.
It can be your butthole knife. It's fine.
Was it yours that was having issues with like fluffy rust at one point?
Fluffy rust, eh?
Yeah. No. Okay, I seem to remember seeing one in person where it was just like caked in it.
No, that wasn't me. That wasn't me, sir.
So
that sounds like a Chia Pet problem right there. It's...
I mean...
Just add water and watch it grow.
All I'm saying is I think it's a good idea that they black coated these blades, it's probably for the best. I am curious to see how that silver version with the stone-washed blade will handle over time, but
Yeah, that's the one. That's the boring one.
yeah,
Why is
it
it so
is.
Hey,
boring for?
hey,
It is pretty
I'll
boring.
take it.
You really?
Why not?
Over the green
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
Okay,
I don't know,
okay.
bro.
So the
Like the green and red are not my favorite color choices for a knife handle, but
That
that gray one is
Dam Steel Center Core one's pretty good, but they've got some other options coming out, and there's going to be one of those that probably tickles my tickle, my
oh,
titter, so to speak. It's yeah,
mm, let, let's not speak on that.
for
it's
uh
we turned the light off on the titters.
Yeah.
lights out, motherfucker. Yeah, for me, the Damascus collab that's gonna be interesting is probably gonna be the Vision. Honestly, that might be the one. But
Well, if they got their butts in gear and actually made the Cubit the way they should have,
yeah, that was actually kind of a letdown.
Mm,
but anyway, yeah.
I do like these.
Just to show off the Damascus that these, and to be clear, it's not like, oh, do I not have it here? Oh, well, look at me go. Uh, I had a Civivi with a Damascus blade that was very much like this on. Anyway, I like that Damascus, but the clad is cool. It's not something you saw that often outside of like Shun collaborations. Uh,
Well, and they gave us a sneak peek of that cladding, and then
Decided not to do it. Yeah.
yeah,
Took you away.
it hurt.
I will
Hurt.
say that I think that was probably a smart move on their part in incorporating the clad Damascus. That is helps them stand out from companies like QSP, Bestech, who are starting to use this stainless Damascus a lot more frequently, specifically the 9CR 10CR blend. The clad is at a pretty attractive look,
What's
and
the core in the clad?
I believe the core is a 10CR.
Okay.
I believe I've heard that from Knife Center. I think I've read that as being reported from Civivi reps, and but the problem, and this is something I really don't like about Civivi, is they don't specify ever with their Damascus. Like this just says blade material Damascus. It doesn't tell you what type. Um,
Well, and that might just be using some K110 from time to time, and it's just a massive steel. I'm using some what like it's
yeah, and
Yeah, it could change.
as long as it's stainless Damascus, and as long as they were clear about that, then I wouldn't care as much. But I like them to say something every now and again.
it's a
Uh,
good way for them to deny accountability when it comes up as
yeah,
doing something else.
went
It's
from a 9CR 10CR to a 2CR 3CR.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Contrast is sorry, Paul. You were saying
I was just gonna say they're so good about telling you every other steel that's in their knives. It's a shame that they don't tell you in this case.
And the thing is, normally guys are looking at Damascus versions of knives. It's like they already have a regular Sentinel strike. They want a fancier one for fancy occasions. They don't really care about necessarily edge retention as much. But at the same time, if you're going to the trouble of using 10CR, I want to know that 10CR is not a bad steel. 9CR is not a bad steel either. Like these are things that you could use absolutely as an EDC and not worry about it going dull ridiculously quickly. And you can't say that about every Damascus steel that's out there on the market. So I think they would be in a better position actually explaining what these steels are, rather than hiding the fact and then waiting for other people to leak that information and then kind of confirming it on a Blade Show video. Like, come on.
Absolutely. Just I think at the end of the day, when it comes to that kind of thing, it's always better to err on the side of the information being out there.
Yeah, and it's not like
Honesty is the best policy.
yeah, Civivi is usually pretty upfront with that, like you said. So
Yeah.
it's just would have been nice to have a continuation of that.
Yeah.
This thing carries super easily in the pocket. Before we get too far further into the weeds here, again, kind of a deep carry. Actually, you know what? Let's use their photos here for a sec, just to show you that's a pretty deep carry. And kind of a long clip. I will say, I did not notice any particular hotspots while holding that knife and like stressing it. more and more frequently I'm hearing from other reviewers on YouTube, talking about how longer pocket clips can create hotspots. That certainly didn't feel like that was the case for me with this guy. I don't know about you, either of you guys.
No, one of the pleasant things about this was the ergos on this. As soon as you grab it, between the chamfering and the clip being in the right spot, I'm like, yeah, no, there's nothing to complain about on this one. Even when you crank down on it, I was like, yeah, it's a hell of a nice knife. As far as long clips versus short clips, I've actually experienced more hotspots with shorty clips than I have with long ones myself.
Yep.
Which is
They
why I'm
get you.
wondering why people are saying the opposite. It's strange.
They get you right in the soft bits instead of like
Yeah.
ending up in like a finger where you can manipulate some things with the fingers, you know.
As you do, yeah. In and out of the pocket quite easily. It doesn't land. The pocket clip doesn't land on a section where there's a horrible amount of texture, and even if it did land on the Zytel, or I think I've said Zytel a few times here, but whatever the polymer is. Oh, FRN. Okay. So fiberglass reinforced nylon. Doesn't seem like it's going to be a pocket shredder. Pretty easy to carry. Carries deep. Carries comfortably. I really like this knife. I think it's a very easy knife to recommend to people. The only caution, and I don't think I got a good photo of this, but the tip is quite thin. Here's a picture of the knife closed at the very least. If that kind of gives you an idea. That knife tip it comes down to a pretty good piercing point.
Don't kink shame. You can have a thin tip. It's fine.
It's totally fine. Just don't drop it.
I mean, don't like at least land on it.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to land on it.
Yeah.
So you end up with a broken tip.
It's one of those one of those situations you want to land on your ass. Yeah, for
Then you
sure.
gotta grind it off and like re-grind it into shape.
Yeah, and then you got a nubby tip. It's never the same after the first time it breaks.
It's true.
I mean, eventually you got to ask for a blade replacement.
Yeah.
That's prosthetics, by the way. It's anyway.
Yeah.
It sure is. Oh man.
It's a minimal fee. It's a minimal fee to pay. So yeah, highly recommend. Any final thoughts, tastes, feelings? You know,
Trying to think of something relatively negative to say about it, but I mean the detent's good. Okay, so we didn't really talk about the action all that much. The break off the detent of the button is pretty crisp in the iterations that at least that I played with. All of the opening methods worked quite well. Yeah.
overall, it's been
Unless you got some kind of crazy aversion to the polymer wraparound backspacer, that's the only thing. But I mean,
well,
like benefits.
For the price, I find it really hard to complain.
I mean, if anything's going to wrap around, I'd prefer anything but plastic. But I mean, it's better than no wraparound.
I would like to see aftermarket companies coming out with replacement parts for stuff like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Ooh, Flytanium coming out with like a brass version.
Yeah. Timascus. It's fine.
Damn. Timascus might be a bit. Man, is it weird to say that I would almost want the Timascus on the all gray and black version of this? Just because I feel like it would be too busy with all the other iterations.
I still want the Damasteel blade though.
It's too much. That's too much for me.
I just want my backspacer to glow in the dark. That's all I ask.
Also actually, wraparound. Oh man, that'd actually be kind of cool.
Yeah. I didn't think I was gonna like this knife at all. I genuinely thought I was gonna be like, meh. And then I touched it, and I was like,
It's kind of nice.
And then, it's clearly better than meh.
Yeah.
And that's my rating.
It's doing enough different too that even within Civivi's own lineup, it does stand out.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of stuff that's been coming out this year and even stuff that's been announced for next year where it's just like, yeah, holy shit, it looks like a knife. I don't know. It's kind of unremarkable. I think they did a nice job with this. Even the decision to like have the forward finger choil being forward of the handle choil, so that you have that really tilted grip. Like just some smart decision making with this one. I really, really appreciate it.
Agreed.
Definitely a surprise of the year. I would actually say when it comes to the top three surprise, top three disappointments, I would say actually the Sentinel does fall into a top three surprise of the year so far for me. And getting into November, that counts for something. It's out of anything I've played with, this is the knife that I was like, I didn't give a shit, and now I kind of do. It's, so.
Cal has come out of hiding to let us know that he liked it enough to pick one up. I don't know if it's right to say that he put it on our radar or not, but he definitely put it on my radar. I kind of overlooked this one completely.
Honestly, he was talking about the cutting performance of the blade, specifically in the kitchen, and just like cutting up. It's nice.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
There was enough requests that put it on the radar. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So final thoughts, scores. Anyone's got a score?
Give it a 6 hits or 6 strikes rather out of a 7 strike combo. This is a
Did you forget to you forgot to sweep the leg?
Exactly. Yeah. Highly recommendable for most people.
Sweep the leg. It's in like every goddamn rule book, Joe. Jeez. Fucking goddamn rookies.
It's fucking amateur hour over here.
Yeah.
Paul?
Chopping carrots. I don't really have a rating for it, but I will say it is quite striking.
I see.
It's terrible. Thank you. I'm glad I'm drinking.
I'm going to score it a 14.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
And the reason I scored a 14 is that was the number of X-Men comics in when the Sentinels first made its appearance. It was X-Men 14.
Okay.
All right. I'm here for it. That's fucking great.
Yeah. There you go. How's that for pointless?
No, that's
you nerd.
That's fantastic. I love it. It's not fantastic.
Now, question: did you have to look that up, or did you know that in your head?
No, I looked it up. I was off by 2.
All right.
I was guessing 16. I knew it was early on.
I think 16 hit combos has some sort of like Street Fighter connotation. Like there's something there in the back of my head where I'm like,
anyway. Yeah. I remember seeing that pop up on screen. I'm pretty sure.
All right. That's pretty good timing. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything super special?
There's one thing that we were talking about that we should definitely talk about. Joseph.
I totally forget.
But I don't know if Dennis has anything else that we should talk about as well.
I probably do. I think I've tagged some things that are like, hey, that's cool. I don't know if anyone... we could talk about, something that was on the radar here last week and no one talked about.
Okay. Kip.
ZTs.
Oh,
yeah.
ZTs, but there was one ZT and then it became multiple ZTs.
So
those things,
there was a new model. The new model used
break. I'll be back in 2, boys.
Oh, for sure. Very. I didn't catch what he had said. Cut out.
He ran off to go to the washroom.
Cool. So I guess very brief introduction. Zero Tolerance finally came out with a new folder. Bam. The 0545. This is a new in-house design, I believe. Using Magnet Cut, which is kind of neat, kind of funky fresh. Lots of external milling on the titanium side. It's using the 707 style pocket clip, which I'm a fan of. No double detent bearing system. But they also reintroduced some models that also use Magnet Cut. And we already have requests for them at the shop, which I found very funny because they've barely been out. They may not appear here. Interesting. I hope those weren't exclusives. I didn't think they were exclusives. Basically, there's a Hinderer design and a Sinkovich design that got re-released with Magnet Cut as well. Um, Dennis, do you know if those the other Magna Cut options from ZT were exclusives? I thought they were not exclusives. I thought they were standard models.
I don't know, like a blacked out double 0006.
Oh
I thought
no,
they were like sprints.
I thought they were factory series exclusives. They might have been sprints. I think they're sprints.
I'm sorry, a blacked out what now?
The fixed blade.
Right. Yes.
Is it a 0006?
Well, the only fixed blade that turns up on their website is the standard version, so I don't know. I thought you were talking about the new Magna Cut folders, which I also can't find on their website for some reason.
There
I
is
could.
an Atlantic knife company doing a 0006 3V blacked out. Knife Center's got a blacked out version, but they're 3V blacked out. Knife Center was talking about it on their website or on their latest and greatest. Also the 562 Magna Cut, also the 450 blue.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
The blue carbon fiber
Magna Cut.
And the Magna Cut. Yeah, I think Magna Cut is an option that made sense for ZT more so than 20CV, given how they have this reputation for being overbuilt, super tough, whatever. Um, okay, so sort of irritated that ZT doesn't have these listed on their website. That would have been useful.
No soup for you.
No. But yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing for sure. I have a National Knives LLC thing here for the 006 BLK. I was looking up DLC initially, but I don't know if they're using
I might be
DLC.
misspeaking about the Magnus. Maybe it's just a blacked out 3V version.
Well, no, there are some other folders. I know a Knife Center did a video on them.
Well, and Blade HQ does have the blacked out Kershaw Dividend with Magna Cut as well. So that one's a thing as well.
Quick side note. I was asking Paul earlier today if he's ever had a 20CV blade chip on him. Have you ever had a 20CV blade chip on you?
No, flat spots. That's all you get. Just flat spots.
It's about my experience as well.
It's
I
because
think
all the companies keep it super soft for us.
well,
55 rock, 55 Rockwell. I mean,
Jesus
Why
Christ.
are you trying to hurt my soul?
That's fucking funny.
What did my soul ever do to you?
Right.
well, just because
so
they write things on the internet, they've got to be true, right?
there
I mean,
they are.
Independent heat treating has definitely told us that. Yeah.
There's the Sinkovich with the Magna Cut and the blue carbon fiber and blue standoffs. It's kind of a neat looking thing. Oh, look, they have a photo of all the new knives. Isn't that nice? They're so good. They're so good at their jobs.
Calvin's saying in chat that he chipped a mini grip in 20CV.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
On factory edge, or was that on a resharpened edge? Just out of curiosity.
But what did you chip it on?
Oh yeah, that too. There is a trend for companies to detemper their edges and overheat them during sharpening. Not all companies are prone to this, but it can happen from time to time. So you typically get better results out of your blade seals as far as edge holding is concerned after you've resharpened it at least 1 or 2 times, I find. And I think a lot of other people have found kind of the same thing.
Nobody's using a water mister while sharpening.
What's that, sorry?
That nobody's using a water mister while sharpening.
No, I mean I've seen a number of Benchmade factory videos at this point, and nothing as of the last 2 3 years, I don't think. But it's basically they're at belts, and there's
Yeah.
no dipping, there's no water cooling or anything like that. So, and not to throw shade at Benchmade, they got to get through a crap ton of knives, and they want to. But Spyderco does have these magnetic wheels that are water jet cooled for final sharpening. Um,
And that
and I
even
have
Spyderco edges will show up with some straw to them sometimes.
Yes, and I've seen Spyderco edges show up with like some pretty serious variation in the edge angle. I think it's because the actual media that's doing the sharpening, they're wheels, so they wear down over time, and as the diameter changes, it changes the angle slightly. Um, so there are pros and cons to all these approaches to factory knife sharpening. But the fact is, you can't have a guy sitting there with a diamond stone sharpening every knife by hand. Not unless you want your knife to cost an extra $50. It's
I don't
just
know
kind of what it
what's
is.
a Rockstead design cost.
Well, okay, that's a different that's a
No,
different
it's
conversation.
hand done.
I will say about a third of that cost probably comes into the sharpening and polishing of that blade. If I'm just ballparking it, but yeah.
So Lemmy is asking MagnaCut version of the 350. Just doing a quick check. Yes, it is a Tiger Stripe OD Green MagnaCut 350. That's
Sure
kind of
is.
cool. But what's available in the States and what's available in Canada is Thou Shalt Not Cross line. And if they decide to cross, then they get tomatoes thrown at them by picketers, or something. I don't know.
Damn
Something
tomato.
like that. On that note, I don't know. I don't know about Knife Center, but Blade HQ actually has a list of restricted items, that they can't send to Canada, for instance. So yes, throwing stars, batons, stun guns, push daggers, machetes, like knuckles. Okay, fine. But then Benchmade, H&K, Leatherman, Zero Tolerance, Kershaw, Victorinox. You can't send that stuff to Canada from Bleed HQ. This is what Dennis is talking about as far as like availability. A lot of companies just won't send that kind of stuff up. Unfortunately, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
and even
fortunately, unfortunately, there's two sides to that.
even on Kershaw Canada or ZT Canada's website, it's a very independent website from the American one. It's run differently. It has different products available. It's its own thing.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Dealey
Absolutely.
O's. And yeah, 350 MagnaCut's kind of cool. There's going to be a everything MagnaCut soon. So don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. You got lots of time. You'll be able to get a
Something.
rat. You'll be getting an Ontario rat in MagnaCut, but it'll be Chinese made. So don't worry about it. It's
I'm
fine.
gonna say those don't exist. It's fine.
Okay, here's a random question because thing. Blah, blah, blah. I saw Ontario post a new thing on social media. So
Okay.
I don't
yeah?
know what is going on, but Ontario is still posting things on social media. So
Like new product from them?
no, just still random postings, but like,
Hmm.
hey, go out and check the Vietnam Pilot's knife. They're in stock now at available dealers. Blah blah blah. Unless they're just promoting it to sell product, but it's weird that they're
Might be.
pushing social media stuff after the transaction has occurred.
Maybe somebody bought the social media account and all their stock.
Yeah, it was K-Bar.
Yeah, there you go.
Camillus,
No,
they're making a
I was
comeback.
gonna say they're gonna start
Oh.
going door to door with them with their Cutcos.
I thought that was Blue Ridge who bought them.
It was.
Yeah. For the record, anyone who wasn't previously aware, OKC has been bought out by Blue Ridge Knives, and the future of the company is somewhat in question. Not exactly sure how things are going forward.
Internet's got a good post. Maybe it was pre-scheduled posts on their
How
social media.
How long are you pre-scheduling, man? Good God. Making your posts 2 months out.
Well, they didn't have a good one up until then. We're like, well, we're going to save this one.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, I don't know. It was about the old Vietnam Pilot's knife, so it wasn't about a new product. It wasn't even about one of their weird recurve blades, rat threes, blah blah blah. It was just Anyway,
That's fair.
it was a detour from the ZT stuff, but I figured I saw it and I was like, hey, wait, well, we're talking about
it is interesting, regardless. Yeah, but if it's anything
Before
like the Rats D2, the magnet cut's going to be run like 58, 56, 58. No one's going to want
No, it's fine. It's 55. I told you earlier.
it.
I,
It won't chip.
you're giving me a actual heartburn.
I was just.
Have you seen what they run their 51 to 60 and tell people what they run their 51 to 60 to?
At least they're
we
honest
had
about it, I guess.
we had an old episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all our fault that they went into business.
Oh,
We spilled the tea, so to speak. Before we go away from ZT, I just want to comment one thing on the 545.
oh, the 545. Yep. Oh,
Yeah, it's got some kind of funky milling on the lock side, a little
yes,
divot,
it does.
and I feel like this is their new attempt at what they were trying to do with the double D10 system that they went with previously.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Where now,
basically grip here, stupid. Is
yeah,
what
put your finger here, and you can't make a mistake.
there was actually. Man, I don't even remember who made the video, but somebody was talking about that. As far as like, yeah, your finger naturally just kind of wants to sit in that little pocket. It's like, yeah, I bet it does. It's a big old pocket on that side of the knife. They even have a deviation in the cutout of the lock bar where just kind of and
Well,
fair
well,
enough.
they figured out the internal milling wasn't helping them at all. External milling is the wave of the future.
I kind of wish they did it to the carbon fiber on the other side, though. I don't know, like
You know
the
what?
Wii.
Do you know how expensive it is to have a man go in there, unscrew things, rescrew things,
Yeah,
continue milling?
it's about $30 to $40 American an hour is what it is.
See? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're eating up all their profits by internal milling.
And
Well, okay,
that
but they
takes
still
like an hour, right?
they
Like
still
it's minimum.
well, I mean, they still have to an hour to screw and unscrew for sure. They still have to mill out the cutout for the lock bar insert on the inside of the titanium. So
Nah.
what do you mean? Nah, we're looking at the screw that holds it in place
They're
right
gonna
now.
start doing it from the outside too.
Paul,
Mark my words.
no. Oh,
No, I won't mark them.
That's fair.
Those
Justin
are
is saying
unmarked words, sir.
Infinite is saying in chat that they run their 5160 between 51 and 60.
oh my god!
They got the heat treatment and their steel grades
On
confused.
9 point.
That's the best
Holy
comment.
shit.
You win, Justin. Best comment of the night. That's awesome.
That's incredible.
10-point spread.
They
Yeah.
do, but they don't.
For the record, 5160 performs just fine at 60 Rockwell. You can get away with that steel.
Yeah. So anyway, those are the things.
The other thing that me and Joe were talking about today was a sheathless fixed blade.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You sheath your fixed blade like a civil person.
I will not.
Well, that's not civil, sir.
I'm gonna break the rules. I'm gonna sheath my fixed blade knife with the handle. Okay.
Well, okay.
Like,
I know where you're going with that.
Turned on that so quick.
when you say it like I'm gonna sheath the blade with the handle, you're just like, yeah, that's a folding knife. What are you talking about? But oh no, we talked about this knife previously, and we're back again.
Yes. Thank you, Knife News, for the article on its incoming release. And the reason I'm going here is because I think it's important you guys can see the video of how it operates. This formatting is just garbage, though. Just give me a second. So, it's a lever locking, telescoping fixed blade. Sliding handle, basically. It's super cool. It says 35VN, titanium handle. Very quick and easy to disassemble. I've wanted one of these since the prototype was first shown off How long ago was that? Was that 2 years ago? Was it longer than that?
It was a minute.
It's been a bit. Anyway, this thing is very strange, and I very much want one. Uh,
Yeah. Also me.
I'm curious. I'll let you guys buy one, and then I'll see what's wrong with it.
well, see, here's the thing. This thing actually had a prototype come out, like a functional prototype, come out a year ago, and it's been in constant revision since then. And there have been some changes made between then and now. I'm pretty hopeful. I'm pretty hopeful that this ends up being a pretty decent package overall.
I'm also at least somewhat okay with it being only okay because ultimately it's a weird friggin' thing.
Yeah, I've never bought anything because it was weird before, but
That's insane.
yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited about this thing. Here's the official page with some nice knurling on the handle.
The
There's
important thing
also
is they listened and they made the pocket clip correct.
yes, they put the pocket clip on the side of the handle where your fingers are going to curl around. It's the right thing to do.
It's also edge into the pocket, like into the seam. The
Yeah.
way, a knife is carried.
Don't worry
Cutting
about
all
it.
the slacks.
I know I do expect that pocket clip to feel a lot like the Vision pocket clip, and I'm not excited about that. But at least it's on the right side of the knife.
I actually think that because I think because of the way that the handle is shaped, it's very straight. It should be fine. I imagine this is actually going to be quite comfortable in hand.
I'm not worried about it in hand.
Oh, you're thinking as far as in pocket?
It's gonna do the weird twisty thing.
It's kind of twisty.
It's gonna
Given
raise L twisty.
What I'll do is I will neck knife carry it in the closed position.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I reiterate. Oh, Paul.
What is it? Is it
Um,
worse if I neck carry it in the open position?
no, it's better because
That's
then you just make a
Yeah.
Kydex shape for it, and then you're done with it.
As long as
yeah.
you're
But
not
why would I
neck
make a Kydex
knifing
sheath
that
for a knife that
stupid.
doesn't need a sheath?
As long as you're not neck knifing that stupid goddamn shark, I don't care what you do with it, dude.
What
I
do
was,
you think
I
has
was
been?
wearing it today.
It's gonna say
Get it out of your system.
I'm
Yeah.
back on my bullshit.
yeah,
If
yeah.
there's any knife that I will actually let go of when I fake throwing it, like it just won't be fake that time. It just won't be. It's just gone now.
Yeah,
It's
that
all right.
sounds about
I
right.
hope
Customers are
it breaks
asking
in
about it
9
now.
pieces against the rock that it lands on. Like it's
Because it will be landing on a ruin, is what he's saying.
I've only worn it 2 days and I've already had at least 2 customers ask about buying one.
oh, I hate you. I hate you
Yeah,
so
but as soon as
much.
they learn the price, they're not interested.
Yeah, true facts.
Yeah.
I may overly inflate that price too for your own sanity.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks for not making us sales. No, I'm just kidding.
You just can't fucking win with this guy, Paul.
No,
No,
I sell them a knife that's on my shelf. It's way better than
that's the
special
right
ordering
answer.
something.
Yeah, it's way better than a piece of bullshit that dangles around your neck.
Hey man,
Paul carries
What
a lot of
else?
bullshit around his neck.
don't get bit.
All right, so good times. Good times on this one. Not bad price. 4 hundo.
Is that what it comes to Canadian? Yeah, I guess
Yeah, give or
American.
take. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for a titanium handle and the uniqueness of the design, I think that's a fair price.
When do they release one in Magnicat?
Um,
In 18 to 36 months. Oh, sorry, that's just CRK or
The cool
CRK's
thing is,
timeline.
you can just buy the blade replacement and swap it into the titanium handle.
you can actually just get a blade replacement, which is neat. So if they ever do start doing different steels, that is an option for sure.
I can just change them day to day.
Where's that link here?
I'll go bushcrafting
So
with a
right
full
now
of
they have a version
extra
of the blade
blades.
that has an extra extension here that kind of clicks into place inside the handle and gives you a little bit of feedback as to when it's fully open, fully closed. Absolutely not necessary, and it's an extra 144, pardon me, American. But it's an option. and I'm happy they have it.
I'm pretty sure you can order it just in the knife too. Like I know that it's here, but I'm pretty sure I read something where it talked about it. I don't know if it was in their own literature or
And
I'm
if you're
pretty sure that you can ask them to swap out the regular blade for the.
That's fair. That's fair.
I could be wrong.
Interesting.
I could absolutely be wrong. I'm remembering random information that I read randomly on the internet a random amount of time ago.
It is random.
Randomly. Yeah.
But yeah, very cool. Happy it's available finally. Probably cave and buy one at some point.
Yeah. It might like literally you might pick the blade and get the handle and then it tells you your total.
I mean, on their website, it's literally an add to cart option, but they didn't give you any of the options, so
But
who knows?
well they give you the regular blade option, right? I saw you it was for 134 versus 144.
That's a replacement.
Does it say replacement?
It doesn't say replacement, but it's the same blade as sold on the Ready PDC, and that's
That's what I'm
this
saying. I
is.
wonder if you select the knife and then you pick your option as far as which blade you want, and one of them's $10 more expensive than the other.
That would be a smart way to do things. I don't think that's the way the way their website handles it, but I'm not going to click the add to cart option. I'm not going to do all that right now. Actually, yeah, why not? Let's see.
I'm just curious.
Nope. You buy the knife as it is. You can buy the other blade as an upgrade, side grade. You don't.
The side grade.
Yeah, you don't change anything
Okay.
there.
Okay. That's stupid. They should have done it the other way.
Good
but
that's cool. You can buy the locking nut, the lever nut, and the lever bolt if you ever need replacements. I don't care that I have to pay for them. Making the parts available, especially when they're bespoke parts for this product, that's a good move.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when the knife is as simple to disassemble as they showed off in that video. That's a
you might
tidbit.
get me to buy them as I'm buying the knife originally, just so I have them on hand.
Very neat.
All the more reason to save the box. It's got the nut inside.
Phrasing. Is there?
Heat.
That's pretty damn cool. Anything else you guys want to chat about before we're?
I got one more small one.
Okay.
Yep.
Just to put some craw in your straw. Go to Leatherman Canada's.
Leatherman.ca. All right, what am I looking for?
So, type in the word micra.
Are they back on their bullshit?
Okay.
Was that a Hello Kitty?
Do you see what I'm seeing? As we're all seeing.
Yeah, I am. There's new colors available.
So, guess what's still not available to order as Canadian retailers?
Really?
Squirts, micros.
None of them are available to Canadian retailers, whether it's micros, squirts, styles.
Oh, shit. We go straight to the retired products page if I type in squirt.
Oh, yeah. The squirt, I think, is squirted. But.
Phrasing.
It's going to be weaved in that juice.
You don't think it's going to squirt a second time? Come on.
For the record, look at how cute this thing is. If Leatherman doesn't come out with a small replacement for this nice, tiny, ultra compact multi-tool, I will be very sad.
Re-release the juice, goddammit.
5 new colors of micros.
Yeah,
for the holiday season. They put them on their social media. Leatherman Canada has an ad on their social media about the new colors for the holiday season.
That's a little
Leatherman
weird.
Canada did?
Yeah, oh yeah. You bet, 100%.
And they don't have them. Neat. That's nice of them.
No one else in Canada can have it, except for Leatherman Canada, and I don't understand why I can't have these to order.
It's not like they'd
They
sell or
they
anything.
were
It's not
discontinued
like
at the be
we've
they were
literally had.
discontinued from the Canadian Order Guide as far as the beginning of 2023. They have not been available for Canadian retailers for all of this year.
That's stupid. I
Ah,
want I
craw
want
on
the
your
folded
straw.
scissors.
I'm telling you. Lump of coal for Leatherman Canada. That's what they get.
It's right here.
So they're on both websites, but you get more color options with the American site. Why? Or is that
They
just a
gave
for?
us
Oh,
the
it's just a
least popular colors.
it's just a formatting issue. Although you can get a blue and red, red, white, and blue. Get it? Because America. America. You don't get that option on the Canadian side though.
Did
It's
some
Micra, Joe, not Merca.
did
Oh,
Micra.
swear to God,
someone confuse silver and
Micra.
white?
it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
If you put it in a white, surface on a white surface, it reflects white.
And I mean, at that point, they might as well put it as gold because first place,
Well, then
America.
you wouldn't know if it's blue and red, or blue and white and red,
You
blue
just
and
wouldn't
gold
know.
and red.
You just wouldn't know what's going on.
It's first place. Play Freebird. Come on.
I'd rather not. Uh, um, okay, well that's an interesting little tidbit.
Craws in the straws. Yeah.
Leatherman, you continue to confuse and infuriate me. What the hell?
I'd like a
Yeah,
micro in my life. I'd
me
like
too.
five flavors for the holiday season that we could pick up from our local retailers.
You
Nope.
might actually manage to make me give a shit about scissors.
I think the only place in Canada you can actually find a micra is through Mech because they got bought by GSM Outdoors and they're American.
Okay, that tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked how Joe did a spit take. I don't even think you can get a Leatherman at Home Depot.ca. That's how separated that shit is. I think HomeDepot.com you can.
I'm going to look at that right now. Leatherman on. Oh my god, that is a giant pop up. Oh, there we go. That's fine.
Dick Richards actually made a comment that I was going to make too. The scissors make that Micra a really good first aid option with the tweezers and the scissors. Um, good for schnip.
The squirt was a sweet little tool too.
Yeah. Also, remake the juice.
Also remake the juice, but the grape juice in particular. That was the right juice to make.
Or the orange juice. I like the grape juice. Like, that's the one I would pick. I assumed you would have picked the orange juice.
Orange juice is the next one in line. No, those are the parts, man. It had a
Oh,
cork.
are they different parts?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Oh, you need to
What's,
learn about
what's the grape juice got?
why you don't drink the blue juice. Okay. It's a corkscrew. It's got a corkscrew. Damn it.
Okay, what's the orange juice got that
I don't even
in
know.
place of?
It's just less things. It's like 18 things instead of 21 things. The grape juice was the best options. It was the most options.
It's the surge of grape juice.
It was. It was. How's your luck, Joe?
You sure can't find Leatherman on .ca, and you sure can't find it on .com.
Can't find it on either?
Sure doesn't look like it.
Okay.
I'm looking at high to low just to make sure I'm not missing anything. You can buy a Gerber Dual Force 12-in-1 plier multi-tool with sheath for 110 American. Sure
Well, why
can't buy
wouldn't
anything.
why
Well,
wouldn't I?
you because you're a Home Depot loyalist and you can't buy Leatherman there.
Hmm.
Interesting.
I mean, I don't know if anyone's a Home Depot loyalist. I don't know of people that own Home Depot or Home Depot loyalist.
Look at how tiny these scissors are. It's great.
They work so
That's
good though.
the one thing I'll give to the Squirt is it also has scissors, whereas a Micra doesn't have pliers.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get a Craftsman from Swiss Army Knife to have one of those. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. It's yeah.
Some years ago, I gave my dad the version of the squirt that had the wire strippers in them, and I think it'd be in poor taste to ask for it back because it was a gift. but I can't get them anymore from Leatherman, so you know.
The old Squirt ES4. Good stuff. Good stuff. Tell me about the good old days, Joe.
Oh, they were so good.
They were wire stripping good.
You could strip wires for days,
Oh,
no
man.
problem.
My neighbors were so mad. Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Quit telling the story here. Oh, too good.
Hate it. I hate it so much.
As you should.
So I think that's, well, I probably do have more, but that's good enough for some bullshit this week. Yeah.
I think so. I have a tiny moment of cognitive dissonance I'd like to share with y'all today. I was talking with Paul about this earlier. 440A stainless, relatively speaking, should hold an edge longer than Oz 8 and 8CR13 MOV. For whatever reason, I had the edge holding capabilities of 440A like substantially lower, like very close to 420J2 level. I didn't realize it was statistically better than 14C Sandvik. That is very strange to me.
I put it in like a 12C, 13C Sandvik myself.
Yeah, but like looking at the actual data from edge holding, like abrasive edge holding, it's actually performs better than that. It's
at
weird.
What hardness? At what
at similar hardness. So if 440, if it's 58 Rockwell and if the HCR is 50 Rockwell, the 440 is going to perform better. The difference being, I think 14C is, for instance, you can harden a little bit higher, I think, without adverse effects. I think, because I haven't seen too many 440A blades that are above 60 Rockwell. I don't know if such a thing exists.
Yeah, and that's why I asked, is because sometimes it gets silly with that shit, right? Like it's,
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, just a weird little moment of like, oh, just that weird paradigm shift of like my world changed a little bit and just slightly, but just enough that I felt weird about it.
Feeling weird about his world.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It was the right answer. It was the right answer. You got to question some things sometimes, you know?
Question the man.
Sometimes it's interesting being wrong. Yeah. Sometimes. Sometimes it's just like, how can I have been so stupid?
I was going to say, let me know how that works out.
I need another beer before that happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I think that rounds us out. I think. Anyone else? No? Or
I got stuffed mushroom caps to cook. Let me leave.
Yeah, I did potato skins and steak bites tonight, and they were delicious. Yeah.
Oh.
Did you get that recipe nailed down you were talking about?
The steak bites. Yeah, I think it did. Worked out good. It was grilled deliciousness.
Making my mouth water. I hate you both so much.
Garlic butter was the key ingredient, as to pretty much anything I cook.
It's a good thing.
So yeah, thank you to the Cutting Edge Cutlery Co. for bringing in the Civivi Sentinels for us to check out, review, first impression. We first impressioned them about a month ago, but you know, life gets real. So
look,
sometimes
we needed some time away.
Had to make sure that it wasn't just a fluke that I like this knife, and I actually did.
Yeah, I think all three of our opinions were changed on it from an initial view to in hand.
Yeah, I think so.
It's all right. I'll change it back. Don't you worry. It's
flip-flopping over here.
Well, gotta keep that knife on its toes, man. You can't let it get comfortable.
Look, you know what? I don't like the idea of picturing my knife with toes.
You have a toe knife.
Do I?
You have an elephant.
Elephant toe.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But like, it's not people toes.
People toes are much worse than elephant toes. Elephant toes are adorable. Great.
Great.
They're great.
All right, someone thank someone else. God damn it.
Thank you to people that continue to baffle me by following us on Instagram. It's people like you that keep me from having to put in an effort, and I appreciate you.
I think they're just trying to find out what's behind the mustache because you're continuing to get censored.
Look, look.
Can't handle the truth.
It's a weird hair lip, isn't it? You get this weird like.
It's something going on back there. It just blurred my mouth there for a second. Like, no.
You were like
Nobody's home.
conscious about your like Red Dragon styles.
Like, it's just, this is all a mask, okay?
Well, that's horrifying. Continue to thank people.
Yeah, no, they've been thanked.
Instagram, also Patreon. Thanks for contributing throughout the months and or years. Yeah, everything's going to be a big thank you back to you guys. We appreciate the loyalty and dedication to joining us week after week with, good and bad opinions. So
something Christmas 2023.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine we're probably not streaming on the 23rd, but it would have been really funny to me if we had.
Seems like kind of a dick move.
Oh, yeah.
Well, seeing as how it would actually be the 24th.
I know it.
Is it? It's 24th. Yeah, that's what I meant. Though. Like, look, Christmas Eve is the 23rd. Christmas Day is the 25th. The 24th is just for me. Okay, let me have one.
That's Willie's time.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. On that note, we will see you all here again next week. I think
so. Yeah.
Sounds like.
I'll post something if something happens, but I think we're all.
Sounds like a thing available. That should be happening. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, join us all again 7:15 Mountain Standard Time. That's it. That's all we got. Everything's been thanked and helped and liked and subscribed and shared, and we might try this all again next week and see if we do better or worse, because it won't be the same.
It's
never. I don't think it's ever been the same twice.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Thanks for all joining us. We will see you here again next week. I am who I am. I'm Dennis Vipers.
I'm Darren Joe.
I'm exile.ca.
Thanks once again, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
We'll see you later.
Adios.